Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of This Week in IP&O. We are, of course, as always, live from the table in my kitchen. We have a very special guest today. We have Pat Harrity, who is the Director of Grounds Operations at Rutgers. Pat, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us. I actually thought we were going to do this outside. I figured, hey, it's a beautiful day. They're going to all come on campus and we're going to do it from outside. I'll pick a nice spot in the grounds area. And I was like, now we're back to Zoom. I'm like, yeah, here I am in my office again. So but that's good.
I'll tell you what, for the
you.
sequel episode, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, let's do it in the middle of a snowstorm and then you can see what that's like.
Yeah. We want the real rawness, what it's really like out there.
Yeah.
So to start us off, our fact checkers, of which there are many, have told us that you have been here for 38 years. Is that correct or incorrect?
That is correct.
So being here 38 years, I would imagine you're one of the most longest tenured employees at Rutgers. So could you tell us a little bit about your career / how Rutgers was from the start and how it's changed till now?
Well, I'd have to say, so I actually started off in grounds and then worked my way through there. And at that time, which was the early 80s, 83, they really just started with their building. There wasn't, there was probably a little bit of building, here and there in the 70s and stuff like that. But when the 80s started, a lot of your building really started. So when I first got here, a lot of things that you see around, I'd probably give you a good one would be, the yard and Sojourner Truth Apartments. Obviously, that was a parking lot, back then. And the grease trucks were all lined up on College Avenue. They weren't even in that parking lot. That's where the yard is now, or over by the Alexander Library where they were. Because I started out on College Avenue when I was first there. And, other things like the 89 housing, which is over on Bush campus. That was just, there was nothing there but a few houses here and there that were around. So, things really started picking up in the 80s. And that's when you started seeing a lot of the buildings going up. And one of the things that I think is great that they brought back this year was the craft trainee program, because I went through the craft trainee program and then worked my way into the facilities and utilities area. Back then, as we're all one department, back then it was all one per campus, and then eventually utilities broke out and all the utilities fell under like it is now, and then eventually they started bringing the campuses together where they were really apart. They had their own director. They were almost probably run exactly alike. So now they're more obviously now they're more together on everything that we do, everybody being part of all the campuses. So yeah, it was a different time, obviously, and it's very fun to sit here and watch how much Rutgers has really grown. I mean, if you look at the buildings from 1983 around there when I got here to now, there's a lot of building that went on, a very lot of building. So I would have to say that that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen really go on here.
Okay, so a little over a year ago, most of the Rutgers community began telecommuting, but you and your crew had made sure that the grounds and buildings remained maintained. What was that experience and process like for you?
Well, in my case, because of grass still grows, trees still need pruning and cutting, and the bushes need trimming, and they're growing, and the the snow falls as well. There's no stopping that, or the leaves falling as well as the snow. We pretty much, been just trying to do a lot of maintaining. Obviously, in the beginning, it was very rough on everybody. A lot of people left because of the school closings and childcare issues and stuff like that. So some of our crews had to really got slimmed down during that time, and so we had to adapt. Probably one of the things would be, if in your own house, you might cut the grass once a week, or every 7 to 10 days. Well, we kind of held that off a little bit. There's really nobody on campus. The thing that amazes me, and I've shared this with many people, is that during this time, in all my years here, I've been through many snowstorms in my past jobs, this job especially. There is less people, especially during the, let's say, early to mid part of the pandemic, than there was during middle of a blizzard. There's more people out and about in the campus. Now, nobody. And it was very hard trying to keep focused on maintaining all our maintenance that was needed outside, while there's really nobody around. It was eerie. It was almost eerie, especially in the beginning, that it was here. So but we knew we had to, when people drive through, the few people that might have during that time, make sure the place looked presentable. And I remember in the beginning of the COVID, we were all saying, oh yeah, everybody will be back. We're trying, be back by May or whatever, beginning of May or whatever. Oh no. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, it looks like we're getting ready for September. Then, July rolled around and it was like, well, it looks like we're getting ready for, the spring semester. And then it was, well, now it looks like we're getting ready again for the fall semester. So that's been a lot of our focus, is just trying to keep up on our maintenance. But one of the things that we were doing, especially during this time, along with trying to keep up with some of the COVID stuff, which was, our playgrounds. You don't think about that. A lot of playgrounds were shut down. So we had to, when we started reopening them, because the families are still here, family housing, we had to go around and clean them, maintain them for them, put signs up about a lot of different things. So outdoor seating areas now, like where the tables were and stuff like that, had to be, we spaced some of them around in different areas, put outside signs up, a lot of the signs that you'll see outside buildings and stuff. But our group probably had put them up. Another one, basketball nets. So we had to go around and pull down a lot of the basketball nets, because they didn't want everybody just coming around and playing basketball, because that was one of the things that had to be done. They had to be taken off, as well as tennis. A lot of the tennis nets that you see around, we had to take all them out. So there was a lot of that going on, where we were trying to help as much as we could with a lot of the COVID, that and everything that was going on with that. Even as much as just putting all the stickers on the trash cans that tell you, please dump your mask here, because we don't want people dumping it in the recycle area. So yeah, so it's been challenging. And I think one of the biggest challenges is just that it's so quiet around campus. The last month or two, I've started seeing more activity, and that's been great.
Yeah, so you mentioned the things that people may not have seen or know that you guys are involved in, but then there's those those really big key visual elements that facilities adds to the campus, and this is something that's not specific to the pandemic. It's every day. You guys are such a big part of people who visit the campus, drive through the campus. The grounds is really what they see and what they focus on. I was wondering if you could say a little bit about that, just sort of the bigger impact that grounds has on the university.
Well, I think that's huge for the university. When you pull up And one of the first things you see when you're seeing on our campus now, probably one of the biggest challenges for us is the fact that we are so big. If you go around to other campuses, whether it's through our APA or Big Ten institutions, some of their campuses, and ones that are as big as us obviously are the same. Some of them, they could even have a fence around it. And so it's very challenging here because you have a lot of little areas that you have to take care of as well. You have our big areas, like when you're going into Queens, everybody wants to go over by the old Queens campus, take pictures and all that. So you'll focus a lot on those areas, especially when they're around the historic areas, to really kind of maintain it to that. When people come up, it's almost like they feel like they're back in that time frame, so that they see how nice everything is and how pristine it is. And then you start going out, we have small buildings outside of here, that are basically where it could have been old houses. So we have to maintain them as you would your own house. So trying to keep all that in and around our areas is very challenging, but I think our crews do a great job putting in different plantings and having flowers out and things of that nature. Right now, we don't have the flowers out. There really hasn't been people on campus. It's one of the things that with COVID, we decided to just let's hold off on for this time. But that comes back. And then you'll start noticing that. You'll start seeing the flowers all planted around the different areas and all that. And then we've been working on different projects too. One of the things that you wouldn't guess is that we do a lot of work with the students, more especially over on Cook and Douglas campus, but we've done some on Bush and Livingston as well. So our landscape architect students and all that, they get involved with projects that they want to do. And so we're going around, we're working with the faculty, we're even looking at the designs of what the students want to do, picking areas for them. And then it might be a rain garden, could be just a flowering area that they want to do, or they want to try out like a different types of grasses and areas that like out in front of IF&H, they did a little redesign in there along the steps that they can go up and you can see all different plantings that they have. And so our staff has been really working with them, the faculty and the students on these projects, which has been really fulfilling on our end. My assistant director, James Ergodu, he's been working like real closely with the faculty on that end, and has really gotten a lot of these projects off and had our grounds workers and equipment operators and all that work with the students to show them that, hey, this is real world. This is how you actually do this and how, the planting actually goes in. So it is amazing. We've probably done 4 or 5 of those projects since, I'll say, last like late spring, early summer that we've done with the students, which has been good. So it's not only that we're trying to create that environment that when you're walking into the building, you see nice plantings and stuff like that. So then you're really excited going into the building, but also that we work with the students that down the road might be designing that.
Oh, that's great.
As you were saying that, the crew will work with the students, it made me think of when we were doing part of our portrait project, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. We did one with a few of the people on the grounds crew, and we put up these pictures on Facebook, and it wasn't like 1 or 2 people, it was like dozens of comments being like, oh my God, I love this guy, I've been seeing him every day for 10 years, and like one after another. And it was like, when I was seeing it, I was thinking like, wow, that's something I never even thought of, that that they have this kind of connection. But like, in a way, the people working the grounds are like, in a way, kind of like the face of of the university. You know, they're interacting with people in the Rutgers community like every single day. And, you know, just like the interaction on that one post alone was like a little bit of like a mind opening up experience, because I never thought of it like that before that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's, you know, you can almost say it's like our custodial crew in the buildings as well. You know, somebody, you know, you're walking out to go somewhere and you see them in the hallway and you might ask them, hey, can you do this or whatever. It's same with our grounds crew. They could be out front weed whacking or mowing or just cleaning up trash. Like, you know, that every day, that's the first thing our groups do when they come out. And, you know, is they go around and they you know, go around and pick up the trash that's around the area. And so a lot of times they're running into the, now our crews start at 6:30 in the morning. So by 8 o'clock, they're starting to really get in, you know, into more of the regular ground stuff as well, more than the picking up the trash, because we try to get that first thing. But now they're, like you said, they're coming by the building, and obviously they're, you know, people are going to stop and say, hey, you know, I noticed that, or, oh, wow, what kind of flower is that? I'd love to do that at my house, or things like that. And that's where I, you know, I just can't say enough about our grounds crews. You know, they really, they try to work together as much as they can. Just even the interactions between the crews on the campuses, you know, they try to work with each other, and they'll work with the people. So in other words, like if you know, somebody comes outside and says, hey, you know, this bush we've noticed has been a problem, you know, with how we're coming in and out of you know, of the door, or you know, it's blocking part of my window, can you trim that up for me? And you know, the crews are just so great. They, you know, they love interacting with people when, you know, when they see them, and, you know, try to make their day, let's call it. And, you know, and the four persons, all of them that I have working for me are just, they are just tremendous with, you know, making sure that the crews have everything that they need in order to maintain everything. And that they also, you know, make sure that they have a good mindset to talk to the people. And, you know, so everybody knows that, hey, we're out there.
Yeah. Well, Pat, you know, thank you for coming on, for talking to us about ground service, and, you know, for all the work that you and your crew have done, not even just during the pandemic, but, you know, every day before that and after it. And as always, we will give you the last word if there's anything else you'd like to say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd just like to say that it's really been a pleasure working with our planning, design, and development department, especially Brian Clemson, who's our landscape architect, and working with down in Camden, Bob Brandt, who's down there running the grounds down there, Juan Torres Morales up in Newark, because I interact with Camden and Newark, especially during snowstorms. Then we're really on top of each other. So, and Jim Campoli up in Newark as well. So it's really been amazing how much everything has grown. Like we talked about when we started, how much Rutgers has grown, and now I would have never thought that I'd be communicating with Camden and Newark almost on a regular basis, along with everybody in New Brunswick and Piscataway, which has been great. And I can't say enough about my crews and everybody that's hung in there for during this whole COVID time, and my four persons, my assistant director. I mean, it's just been, you know, it's really been great. It's been a tough time, and like I said, it's almost eerie out there with nobody around. But now that as people are coming back, we're getting more and more excited. And I'm hoping next time we do this, maybe do it like in the summer, late summer, maybe before the kids come back, we could do it outside.
For sure.
Sounds good to
For
me.
sure.
All right. Enjoy the nice weather. It's going to be hot this weekend. It's going to be like 90, so enjoy it. Go to the beach or something, or go down to the to Voorhees Mall and hang out there. It's beautiful out there. A lot of nice elm trees.
You heard it here. Got to see the elm trees. All right, Pat. Thanks for.
All right. Take care,
thanks for
everybody.
joining.
Thank you.
Bye.